When I do this my podcast,
and Faithful, stand up, baby.
Faithful, what's going on? Another episode, 49365 Tonight Show. You already know what it is. My name is B. Mechi, and as always, I'm with JB.
What's poppin', B? What's poppin', Faithful? Tonight show, man. What it do, man? It's playoff weekend, Wednesday. It's getting real, man. I know we're gonna hop into this Rams game, and it definitely was a great experience. But it's crazy, like these Cowboys, they come into town.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
we going over there, I should say, but yeah. Getting this light all messed up. My bad. Gotta get the mood right. This is Tonight Show for y'all who don't know. We definitely had to move over, make sure we're doing these full episodes on our channel. So make sure you like and subscribe. We gotta get our account up. I'm not sure how crazy it's gonna be in the comment section this time because we're not directly going from Frontline Sports Media, but we definitely gonna post up some clips afterwards. And we appreciate all the regulars for rocking with us. And make sure you follow us on Twitter as well at 49x365. So much to get to from this episode. If you didn't see us last time when we did the post-game show, JB came down to LA. We went to the game, the Rams game I'm speaking of. It was crazy. It was just a special game. I was saying, I did go to the New Orleans game in 2019. Of regular season games of note, you also think about the the Seahawks game with the Greenlaw stop. You think about the pick at the stick. That's really, in my eyes, in the past 10 years, like some of the biggest regular season games that we've had. I mean, it really is that monumental. Matt Mayoka was talking about how he really would put it up there, as like one of the most memorable games, most legendary games, because the Seattle game was really for seeding. We were already in, though. This game was for everything, and how everything turned out with New Orleans and Atlanta and that game that was going on simultaneously. It really was for everything for us. So you felt that, you saw that, and I mean, we talked about it on the post-game show already, but I definitely had to come back and kind of like having a few days to sit on it and just no, there's no few days to sit on it. Like, I've still been on the high, you know what I mean? Like, and I think a lot of faithful out there, I mean, every week, y'all know how it is, 49365. It's all day, every day. But at the same time, I felt like this week was a little bit different. It was just like, I don't know, maybe it's because we actually went to the game, but F that. I feel like all the faithful felt it. It was just this high, like this game meant so much. And so I just my opening statement about that game and what we witnessed from the team is the word that Shanahan used, the word that we've heard so many times on various podcasts and things of that nature, the resiliency. Man, this team is resilient. And I think really, if you want to take that to another level, you got to attribute that to coaching, and not just coaching. You got to attribute that to the culture. They always say that word, the culture. And what I mean by that is the players that you have, right? Resiliency is about when you're down, do you fold or do you keep going? We've had different ways that we've had to win games this year. And I think that bodes well as you make that playoff run. You talk about those wild card teams that, actually made it to the Super Bowl and made noise and either won the Super Bowl or got close to it. In the Green Bay Packers when Aaron Rodgers won, the New York Giants with Eli Manning. It's getting hot at the end of the season, usually going on a big winning streak and finding all these different types of ways to win a game and being comfortable in really knowing what your identity is. We have those things, and none of it kind of works without having that culture of guys that, it's just tough. You can call it tough. You can call it resiliency. You can call it a number of words and superlatives, but it all comes to that same energy of we got guys who you just want to go to battle with. And to me, like, I think about the end of the game, Ambry Thomas's first interception ever of his career in the NFL. The biggest play of our season, one of the biggest plays in Niners regular season history. And I was thinking about it, especially when Rob Louder posted that clip of the other angle of that specific play to end the game and how the crowd went crazy. And, it was a home game for us and just how wild that was. You guys know what I'm talking about. If I can find that, I'll post that up later on when we go through some of the posts on Twitter and whatnot. But posting that clip, and I'm looking at OBJ, and you saw the miscommunication. You saw Stafford kind of, pointing towards him like, where you going? You saw OBJ kind of like, he just kind of like body language is bad. And it's so funny because OBJ, after he got released by the Browns, were we in the mix? Were we not in the mix? John Lynch said a few words like, yeah, we tried to, make a play happen, but honestly, some of those things are earned. He said something like that. I'm paraphrasing, right?
Right, right,
And it's like I'm thinking about you're watching the Rams. They got Von Miller. They traded for him, like ended his career, but a superstar type player, right? You got OBJ who they traded for. You got Ramsey, he's always has bad body language with like the players on his team and stuff like that. He always is on the sidelines talking to the coaches and like, well, what are we doing? Like, how are we letting them score? You always seeing those things. And they have these superstar players, Matthew Stafford, who they traded for, all these guys, and it's LA, man. They're competing with the Dodgers, they're competing with the Lakers. It's the glitz and the glamour, it's all those things. And on the flip side, back to what I talk about with being tough, resilient, all those sort of things, OBJ essentially said no to us, went to the Rams, and I don't want to go too crazy. They won the division, they
right.
have more wins than us, but we have their number. But the point I'm making is that I love the archetype of our team, the toughness that guys like Kittle, guys like Warner, guys like Debo, the toughness that those guys have demonstrated. A quarterback like Jimmy G, who say what you want to say about him, good Jimmy, bad Jimmy, jittery Jimmy, clutch Jimmy. Let's add that to the Jimmy list. All these certain things you want to say about him. What we can say is that when it comes to quarterbacking in the NFL, he's just one of those players that's like one of the guys. He's got that linebacker mentality, that cool guy mentality. Like, it's different from a lot of quarterbacks that you see that seem to be on a pedestal and almost separate from the team. So all of these things, whatever words you want to throw out, resilient, tough, and just all in all together. And it was just a game that embodied who our team was. And I couldn't have been more proud. I had a lot of criticism for Kyle Shanahan this year, calling him Mike's son, doing all the things that we did. I had a lot of criticism for John Lynch, and I still disagree with a lot of the things that we've done. But I got to say, man, I really respect this team. My respect has grown for this team. And I feel just proud to be faithful, proud to be a 49er fan, regardless of what happens. We're going to get into the Cowboys. We're going to get to what I think about that team and the archetype of that team. But it was just so interesting to compare the Rams and who they are versus us and who we are, all represented, I feel like, in that game, man. What was your, before we get on to the Cowboys and all those sort of things, like, what were some of your big takeaways, your opening statement, from that
Oh
game?
man, from the game, I mean, bro, I mean, like you said, it was just a crazy game. It was a crazy experience being there. It was crazy because the first half, it was honestly like, I was texting my wife like, what a disgrace, and the way we talking about this epic ass game, like this game is so epic and so crazy, and it really wasn't. It really didn't have to be that way. It really could have been like the opposite. It could have the if we would have been in the first half and I would have been listening to this podcast right now, I'd be like, "What? What are you talking about? Like,
Right.
what are you talking about, bro? This was weak. Like, this was a it was cool. I was like, man, at least we get to see the stadium. At least I get to hang out with my cousin and go see a game and go see this nice stadium. That's what was going on in my mind, and then just to see how it just switched up and just I mean, it just was crazy. And I just think like, the fans, the amount of fans being there, that put it on a different level. Like, just seeing that many fans and how when we did start going, because like I said, the first half, yeah, it was a lot of fans, but we was sitting down, we was just quiet. But to
Yeah.
hear how loud it got when we was making plays, when Debo making plays and you know when that was going on, it was like it was unlike anything I've experienced before. So that's pretty much how it was. It was unlike anything I ever experienced, and going heading into the playoffs. I think it is. At the end of the day, it's every football game is different for sure. Like every football game is different. Like these dudes is coming hungry too. Like the Cowboys, they not this is NFL playoffs. They 12 and whatever five they are for a reason. So, they're not gonna come in and just be like, oh, I'm scared. Like they could run the ball and like, like they gonna come in. But I think that just the fact of how we won the game, being down bad like we were, and being able to bounce back, I do think and I hope and I think like Jimmy G, all these guys being able to do that. That has to give you some confidence going into the playoffs. High pressure situation. Jimmy G, like Jimmy G been. He always says he's in the middle of the road, like middle, like he's mild mannered, mild tempered, I guess. And then, the cliche thing, not too
Right.
high, not too low. But I don't know. I just feel like this type of win under them type of pressure and circumstances, I just feel like that would give you an extra more confidence. And we know it's all about confidence, and we gonna need we need Jimmy G to get to where we want to get to this year. So yeah, man, that's and I want to transition a little bit of that into what Shanahan said today. He said, a beat writer, I forget who it is, but he asked him a question. Basically he said he thought that we Ben should have played Trey. Most of the fans thought we Ben should have played Trey, and he said you Shanahan, you've kind of you know stood strong. You've been unwavering in playing Jimmy. Like what made you and you see what made you say that? What made you do that? And Shanahan basically said like it wasn't a hard decision. It was an easy decision based on film, and basically saying that Jimmy really didn't play as bad as it was being made to be, you know, to be made in the media or whatever on Twitter. So what did you think about that?
Yeah, I heard him say that, and I don't really think too much of it, man. I think, it's a little bit of taking what they say with the grain of salt when it comes to the press conferences and things like that. And of course, it's easy to say that in retrospect. Why would you say, anything other? Like, why? What good does it do you to say, yeah, we were having, internal debates about what we should do, what point we would make a change, what we needed to see. It was really more about how Jimmy or how Trey was playing than it was about how Jimmy was playing and what we felt comfortable with. Like anything like that, why would you say it? Especially like you said, all the momentum that we have, the big win that we're coming off of. That was a layup question where it's like, nah, we were confident in it, steadfast in it, and that's how you have to
You think so?
respond.
You think that?
There could be truth in it. There could be
I
truth in
mean,
it, but
his actions proved it was truth in it because he didn't.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
You could have started Trey. My is
well,
my
well, you could have, but the point I'm making is, I mean, yes, he could have started Trey, but what if he didn't feel confident to do that? And it's less about what Jimmy was doing and more about the unknown of Trey and what he was seeing in practice and all those things. And it's like, why would you even say that? He could have done a lot of different things, and there's things I disagree with, but we're here where we are because he made the decisions that he did. And maybe that is 100% true. Maybe that was, he didn't feel like Jimmy was playing as bad as a lot of us feel like sometimes he is, especially at the beginning of the season and those sort of things. But he said what he said, and I just like the fact that I said at the post game show, even though I disagree with some of the things that he's done, you can't disagree with the results. And so in that sense, it's not that like he's proven right in terms of, oh, if you did this, you did the right thing, right? But at the end of the day, the method that he chose got us to this point. So yeah, you can make a left on that street, make a right on that street and go this way, or you can take the scenic route and go this way. But if you get into that same destination, at the end of the day, what does it really matter? And that's kind of how I feel about what Shanahan has done this year and the way that he's positioned us this year. So you can't really say too much about it.
okay. And just going off of that on a little bit of tangent, what do you feel about Mike's son, as we call him? What do you like? What do you feel about him? I mean, did that game? Did this one game? Did it change? Like, does it change your perspective on Shanahan and on Jimmy G? Like, I don't know. Like,
Yes, it does for me because I feel like it shows that you look at the other sideline, you look at Sean McVay and the talent that he's been able to have, and the way that he is as a coach in terms of the you can say he's corny and say whatever you want, but very positive, upbeat, seems to have a good pulse on managing the team, have delegating responsibilities to other coaches, getting strong people in there like a gosh, what's that guy's name? The older defensive coordinator who they used to have, who they don't have anymore. Wade, I believe. I'm messing up my names right now, but having different people on his coaching staff that have been head coaches before in the past, like we've pointed to a lot of those sort of things about Shanahan is some of the reason the way that he is because of arrogance, and he doesn't want to have, he wants more so quote unquote yes men. Not saying these guys are yes men, but like unproven, guys that are under him as opposed to people that have experience. A number of ways that you can look at it. The guy on the sideline from last week in Sean McVay, and I just feel like Shanahan, he steadfast, play, the mannerism that he has, the tone that he has, whether it's his demeanor on the sideline, his post-game press conference, pre-game press, it's been steadfast. It's been what it is, and it's still gotten us to this point through the ups and downs. And I just feel like I had my questions, I had my doubts, and the way that we were able to pull out this year, it was special to me. And how everything played out, in this season. So,
And you know how, like, speaking on Sean McVay and Shanahan, it's like, I don't know. For me, I get the vibe like Sean McVay, like he represents kind of like, this is my little analogy, but like a just a flashy, like, like get rich fast type way, where you be like, he's like, damn, this dude, he got the jewelry on, he got the whips, and he might be doing a scammer. I'm not like, not to say he doing some scammer type things, but just you look like real get rich fast type vibe. And Shanahan got the, like, low key steady Eddie, but he has a formula, and he's, steady Eddie, and it's like, which one is gonna get you more success or whatever, because the quick money, the easy money, that's tempting, and it's like, damn, I don't know, and I don't. It just I don't know. It just feels that way. Like it just feels that way. Like Shanahan's a little more low key, and McVay's just, whatever you want to go, the opposite of low key, or whatever you want to call flashy, whatever you want to say. But then it's like Sean McVay's been having a lot of success.
yeah, but they've had, it's there's always context in the NFL, and the NFL is so different from, the college football, championship just ended, and it was Georgia and Alabama, and people talk about Nick Saban's greatness, and you can't take anything away from that, and there is something to be said about coaching talent, but college I always look at with such a big grain of salt because these guys, all you got to do is recruit the best players. I don't give Nick Saban any, like, when guys get injured for Alabama, like their wide receivers went out, I don't have any sympathy for them. None. Because it's like the next guys that you have. I mean, think about the
I
years that
mean,
they
that's the
had
person that that's the program he built, though, bro. He built that program.
where they had Henry Ruggs, whatever. I don't give how you built the program, you get credit for that. But I'm saying at this point, I don't have any sympathy. You
It's a real competitive vibe, though. You feel me? It's competitive to try to get these.
I don't
You got
care.
to keep on
I
trying
don't
to get
care.
these
That's a
dudes.
part of it. That's a part of it, but that's recruiting.
I'm,
That's not, I don't care.
I'm
The
saying
point
that's
I'm
a part of it, though. But go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing. That is a part of it. It's to me, it's way different from the NFL because I have so much more respect for Bill Belichick, where you're dealing with the same salary cap issues and free agency. Like it's not, you don't have the ability to just come to somebody's house and be like, oh, this is the place to go, and be able to have, oh, if Henry Ruggs gets hurt, it's all good. We got Jerry Judy. Oh, he got hurt. We got Smith.
No,
It's all good. He
I
got
hear
hurt. We
you on
got
that. I
Waddle.
hear you on that. But to be able to land those guys, like, that's a challenge. That's a challenge.
Yeah,
Like,
and it's not coaching. It's not. It's a part of the college football game, which is what the point I'm making. I respect that is a part of it, the recruiting, that aspect of it, like to have the respect and foster a situation where there's competition, etc. Like, yes, that's a part of it, but that's
heavily,
not
like, not just like, it's real competitive. Like,
okay. But that's not. But I'm saying that's not the NFL. That's not football. That's not being able to like. Okay, we all have the same. Like, I'm just talking about from a pure us all having the same opportunities. And I understand what you're saying. Nick Saban's earned the opportunities to draft, to recruit those players and whatnot based on what he's done, his resume, his, his program. I understand that, but I'm saying in the NFL, it's a part of the strategy to deal with free agency and the draft and all those sort of things. Like, we're all coming from the same area. The only advantage or competitive advantage, disadvantage is really the location of the teams, which is such a small thing. right? And so
Well, all right. Like just to play. Like, what about like if you got a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers? To me, that's like you're at an advantage.
yeah, but they drafted them. They drafted those guys, or you can get them in free agency, or you can trade
Right.
for them. That's what you're doing off top, and we are all in the same different draft positions. You got, yeah, I know there's different guys that come in. The talent of them is different, and you get there's luck involved in that and all those sort of things. But the point I'm making is that there's no recruiting in the NFL. It's not like you're just getting these best players, these top prospects every year. And so making that analogy to Sean McVay and bringing back to my point that I'm trying to make, like Sean McVay is dealing with all these, talented guys and these guys that are, you can say Hall of Fame or superstar type personalities and those sort of things. But the players that we have, like the archetype of our team and the guys that we have, it's a lot more blue collar, to the original point I was making when I said my opening statement. The archetype of our team, we have a lot of guys that have that chip on their shoulder type of energy, type of vibe. And there is something to be said about a guy like Sean McVay. You're saying get rich quick in terms of managing all that talent, because that's a skill in itself too. That's a different way to kind of manage a team. There's different ways to win in this league. There's different strategies. But with Shanahan and with our team, it just seems like when you look at the guys that we have and the Fred Warners of the world, the George Kittles, those late round guys that are leading your team, not free agents that are necessarily coming from outside the building. Jimmy G is a player we traded for, of course, but even with him, small school guy, we traded for Trey Lance, of course, but even with him, small school guy, it's not like the archetype of the guys on our team just have a different energy. And I just love the way that things have shaped up, and especially with a big team like the LA Rams and being able to go to their stadium and take over in Hollywood, man. It's just, well, I mean, Inglewood, but you know what I mean? It was just a beautiful thing to see that, man. So we definitely got to transition to eventually talk about these Cowboys and whatnot. But I did want to, share, just as we close out this Rams part of the conversation, a few things that I had seen on my feed that I thought were definitely interesting. Let's see. I know last time when we tried to share the audio, we were having issues with that. So I hope that is the case with this one, and we'll be able to actually share audio. Give me 1 second. Let's see. All right, we'll see. We'll see if the audio is working on this joint. You have to let me know, JB. But the first thing I wanted to point out, this is an easy one. This is
Bro, I
just
watched this thing like a million
a
times.
million times. It has 230K views. So shout out to Rob, the homie, man. Can you hear this, JB?
Nope. Oh yeah. It was loud, bro. That was epic, man. Hey, this game, bro. The only game I felt like this ever was the New Orleans game where after this game, like I remember at your house, we watched the last 42 minutes. I did that again. I watched that YouTube last 42 minutes thing again. Like you just watching it and it just is like this makes me happy watching this.
Yeah.
And then I just watched they played it back on NFL Network again yesterday, and I really watched the whole game. Like, sometimes you be like, "Oh, I'm tired," or "This is kind of boring," or whatever. I don't feel like watching this again. Like, no, I really want to watch this again. I want to see everything again.
Right.
I just want to see it all.
Right. Exactly. No, exactly. Definitely I feel you on that 100%. I don't know if the audio is working, but I'll at least put the headphones close so maybe it could be something to be heard. But you just saw the crowd from that one, man, just like how electric it was and how much of a home game it was. This was funny. This was let me get the audio on this one. Can you hear this? You can't hear this? All right, let me play it again.
It's hella low. I could barely hear it. It's like hella low.
Okay. All right, yeah, I got to get this audio thing, man. StreamYard, what's good? How do you get the audio to work on the actual stream when you're sharing the screen? I need to figure that out. You know what? I think what I'll do, let me try this. Let me change my mic here on my audio and see if that will possibly be a reason that this thing could change. But basically, what this clip that I wanted to show, it's a clip of Matthew Stafford's wife, and she's basically talking about the experience being at the game this past week against the Niners and how we basically took over. and made that happen. She was just basically talking about how it was hard to, the things that Matthew Stafford was saying really during, um, you know, uh, the post game press conferences. I'm sure you heard him talking about how he couldn't make calls. He was basically doing silent counts, and it was something that usually you don't see that. You know what I'm saying? And he's never experienced that. And even being from Detroit, where you think about it, they got Bears fans, they got Packers fans in that division, right? And they travel well, and all those sort of things. And Detroit's always the team to beat up on. They never experienced anything like that, even in those scenarios. You know what I'm saying? So
I have a theory, bro. I mean, like, I just have a theory. Like, it's the Rams. We will always have that advantage over them because it's in
it's
L.A.
our team. Yeah,
It's
it's
in
our team.
L.A., bro, and
Let
it's
me
like
let me, let me, let
L.A.
me play this again and see if you can hear it because I put the speakers on. So let's see. Let me run this back. No, you can't hear anything.
It's hella like I think it's like hella low. Like I could hear it like maybe like just like it looks like it's like a whisper, hella low. Like so maybe I could like kind of hear it based off it from your end, but I can't really hear it.
All right, one more time. One more time.
I'm not gonna lie, I have
There we
never
go.
seen so many of the opposing team's fans at a game. And we came from Detroit, and there are a lot of good traveling teams there, but that was wild. Like Matthew was on a silent count, and then for those of you who don't know what that is, like he can't call. It's like when he hikes the ball, it's either a loud count where you can hear him, and that's what usually quarterbacks are on when they're at home, or a silent count. Matthew was on a silent count. Jimmy Garoppolo was not. Who's the opposing quarterback? It was crazy. I mean, I've never seen anything like that, but it made it very hard for us because I guess we weren't expecting to be on silent count.
Which is just, to hear that, it's a little, it's just like, damn, like it just gives you perspective. If you remember, I think it was her, I think it was Matthew Stafford's wife. I forget, I don't know what her name is here, but I think it was her who was at the Niners game who had the onion ring that she threw at somebody or something because they were in their face. Did you hear about that story?
I mean, I kind of remember it,
On
but
the Monday Night Football game, yeah, I think she had thrown some onion rings at some of the fans that were in her face, which is just adds to the hilarity of this a little bit. But and then I know you saw the clip. I think you had sent it to me. I'd already seen it of Sean
yeah,
McVay talking a little bit about that same sort of thing.
And then just going back, yesterday, Matthew said that it was a really tough environment to communicate in really the whole second half. I'm curious how much that kind of caught you guys off guard, or if it did catch you off guard.
Yeah, I think it did catch us off guard. I think just because of the way that it's been this year. I mean, you've been at all those games, Lindsay. I mean, it's been a great atmospheres, great environments. Yesterday was the same thing, but there was a lot of red there, and that was that was definitely it was a surprise. I think it's a fair way to put it.
I don't know why it would be a surprise. Like you said, we are California's team. They left for so long. You come back, and I was at the game at USC when Colin Kaepernick beat them when we were underdogs, and that was the year that win basically cost us a chance at getting Myles Garrett, which I was upset about, but I love getting that win. I was there at USC. It was all 49ers fans, and it's like it's been that way. You know what I'm saying? So
let's just talk about L.A. Like L.A. geographically is so close to NorCal. It's
people, it's
so
easy to
easy
make
to
that
get
trip.
there.
We were at the Disneyland with the kids the day before, and we see all the 49ers fans there. It's like this is this is another thing. I actually have the form to get season tickets for Rams game because I want to get season tickets now and just sell all the other games and then just go to the Niners game every year. Because it's just like it's so easy to get out here, even for you. Like it's easy to make a trip once a year to just
Easy, bro. I got 4 kids and we got on that plane and it was easy, bro. And it's and all right, so it's geographically close and it's LA, bro. It's like LA is a dope ass city. Like LA is like why it's just like it's hella close and it's LA.
yeah.
And it's like so I mean, and in terms of the Rams fans, like until you win Super Bowls, you're not gonna have like a hella big ass fan base, like passionate fan base. I feel like you got to win championships in cities like LA to really, get that passion. Like we look, we won championships, even though it's been 30, I don't know, 30 years since we won something or whatever, 25, whatever it is. But we got them championships. So that breeds that passion. They don't have that. They don't
Yeah,
have
and
no
I think with the Raiders going to Las Vegas, there's definitely going to be that gap in the generation where, there's going to be those parents that are Raiders fans, from Oakland that make their kids, be Raiders fans. But for the most part, there's going to be even more, I think, Niners fans over the next years because we are the only team in the Bay Area. And then when you look at LA versus us, there's still plenty of Niners fans out here in LA, as you can see from the game, probably even more Niners fans here than Rams fans. And if we continue to have success over the Rams, you would think like our fan base is just going to grow and grow and grow. And it actually transitions into the Dallas game because I'm really interested to see how many of us we can get in there, because how dope of a fan base is it to have that situation in LA happen? And just like, it's not just LA. We looked at there's the screenshots of how Dallas looked like the last time, like when it was a big game where we played them at Dallas and how much
it ain't gonna be like that though. It's not
I
gonna be.
know it's not going to be like that, but my point is the fact
they
that you can even
serious
do
about
that.
that shit out there.
Yeah, I mean, but the fact that you can even do that, there's not even fan bases that can even do that. You know what I'm saying? Like
we one of them ones. Dallas is
one of them too, because you can one of our games. There's a bunch of Dallas fans, like in the Packers. They travel well. The Steelers, but we're one of those teams. Like this game coming up, and we'll get to it. We're gonna get to it very soon. This game coming up is Lakers Celtics. You know what I mean? It is Cowboys Niners is historic, legendary. It's all those things. You know what I'm saying?
That's the first big game I really ever remember really watching, and or not. That was like that was the first big game, bro. Like Dion and Eric Davis and Steve Young, and so yeah, man. Slime. Hey, my kid's I'm about to have a real game on our room. I'm about to have a slime game. I'm gonna let the kids watch the slime game.
Yeah, man. I'm just posting some clips from what the Niners recently posted. This was actually from Brad. Brad reposted this from the Niners account. Shout out to Brad, man. He be just taking the clips, putting them up. I feel it. Do it. I don't know how he gets away with the copyright stuff on that type of stuff, but hey, he makes it happen. I ain't mad at you. Shout out to the SF Niners. Make sure you follow that account, most definitely. But yeah, man, it's
And I like the vibe too. I like this screen sharing thing, man. It make us look a fit. And we on Twitter. We got the live on Twitter, so we. I think we on the right track right now, brother.
Yeah, exactly, man. Definitely appreciate those tapping in with us, man. The last thing I wanted to say before we get into the Cowboys, the Rams Cardinals game, I think is so fascinating to me. Clearly, division, game, will definitely tap in and see what happens there. But the Cardinals each year have seemed to slump towards the end of the year. This year, they were on top for so long, and then the slump was real. They're dealing with injuries, things of that nature, but I have no sympathy because we, our history with injuries and things of that nature. The Rams, we just saw what we did to them and how they must feel and how they don't even have a home. They won the NFC West, but it was such a deflating loss, especially with Sean McVay losing to Kyle Shanahan 6 times in a row. I just feel like, imagine it if the Rams lose, losing the game that they did against us and then losing in the playoffs. That's got to be that seems like to me, you have that pressure. And we're going to talk about this when we get to the Cowboys. You have that pressure when you make a move like trading for Jared Goff. With us of trading Jared Goff for Matthew Stafford and all the other players that they have, right? And Von Miller and all these sort of things. You're trading draft picks and you only have 2, 3, 4 draft picks a year because you're trading for all these superstar guys and you have all these cap issues, et cetera, et cetera. For us, when you trade for Trey Lance, it's a huge play, a huge splash play. You're talking about first round draft picks, all those sort of things, but it's not necessarily a win now thing because it's a quarterback and the goal is to develop him for the future. And it's not just you get him and we have to just absolutely win now. Yes, we have our window. It's the NFL. It's not for long. You want to win now and all this, but it doesn't put that pressure on you where it's you have to win now. Whereas if you get an established guy like Stafford, you do, especially if you had Jared Goff who took you to the Super Bowl. Okay, and then you bring in Matthew Stafford and you lose to the Niners in that last game. He's had a few picks. Does Sean McVay trust him? He didn't go for a passing play on that third down when,
Bro, that gotta be that right there. And in hindsight, that gotta eat him alive because I was scared of them passing the ball. The run game. I'm like, we've been stopping they run all game. I'm like, I hope they run it. Exactly. But if y'all pass it,
But
You
that's the
know,
thing. You're putting questions in your head. Would you have done it differently? Do you really trust Matthew Stafford? All these sort of things. He's been turning the ball over at a high clip, and then you lose to Arizona in the playoffs. That is a terrible way to close out their season. Terrible, terrible. And on the Cardinal side, like I said, all the December slumps. They lose in this game at home. They're not at home. They're going to be on the road, but they've been much better on the road than they've been at home. Do you decide to move off of Cliff Kingsbury? Do you decide and I don't think they will, but I think the question will be there depending on how they lose. But one of them is going to lose. Like that's going to be the benefit for Niners fans out there. One of them teams is going to lose. So I think it's just fascinating game in terms of I think Niners Cowboys definitely marquee, but to me, and I know it's NFC West, but Rams Cardinals that has so many storylines written over it, depending on who just absolutely chokes in this game. And I just can't wait to see, man. I'm gonna have my popcorn ready because either way, it's a victory. One of them teams is out, so I love that aspect. I'm still just showing these clips, man, these behind the scene clips that the Niners posted. It was so dope to see.
is this the first 48 hours thing?
No, this is best sideline moments from 49ers week 18 overtime win versus Rams. So it's a little bit different. You got to check that one out too. They released it about 3 hours ago. Here on Wednesday.
I'm gonna watch that, man.
Yeah, definitely tap that in after you watch this.
Hey, bro, have you I know you about to segue into the Cowboys. Like,
yeah,
it's crazy, man, because I was on Dallas Cowboys.
Yep.
They
the
YouTube channel. And they really be having like
podcast media. That's what I was going to get to. So we can transition to that. So talking about the Cowboys and, prepping for this game, I know you've been on, the Cowboys official website, the good Debo right there, just showing all that emotion after that big play that Jennings made. This is right after that touchdown that Jennings made. Just amazing emotion. Just
I'm about to watch this, bro.
Yeah, it's just amazing.
That's why I say I gotta watch this game because it's like, damn, like you know the end result, and so you like, how did you get there? And seeing like, all right, these dudes really was acting in the right way to win a game under crazy circumstances, and it's like
Eric Armstead's response to Ambry, I believe, right here. Yeah. So
Eric Armstead. Fine. It's like, is this your best moment ever? Like, are you finally where you're supposed to be? Like, I feel like Eric Armstead, in my opinion, is always underachieved.
Yeah, it's tough because I think we also I think in transition talk about the Cowboys. Dak Prescott is a quarterback first and foremost. He's he has dual threat aspects, but he's a quarterback. And I think we've had those struggles, even in solid era about mobile quarterbacks. And I feel like when you're going against a guy like Matthew Stafford, I think Eric Armstead is really able to shine. I've always compared Eric Armstead to Jimmy G, where kind of like he is who he is, but he's a little bit overpaid, if you want to say that, which is why there's all those expectations and stuff. But if you just look at him for what he does, he's been pretty solid, but he just hasn't been an elite player, which is what he's getting paid like and what we kind of expect from him.
Never could finish, bro. Remember that though?
Never could finish. Yeah, but again, that's going against Russell Wilson, going against Kyler Murray, going against
against anybody. Though.
I feel it, but I do feel like that's an aspect.
I feel you on the obviously, I mean, yes, if you're going against Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, that's different. But Eric Armstead had I'm hella big and strong. I'm move you out the way. And then when he gets to the gets to the ball, it's like he's just not gonna make the tackle.
Yeah. But so thinking about Dallas as we transition and talking about the Cowboys again. Now, this is the 49 hours punching the ticket to the playoffs. And when we speak about the playoffs, we speak about the Dallas Cowboys. You do your prep, you go through the Dallas Cowboys account, their channel, watch all their videos, get everything we can about the teams. I am always fascinated as somebody who, myself is involved with video editing and media and things of that nature. I'm always fascinated to look at different teams, media departments and how they kind of go about things and what things they do. I'm somebody who at the beginning of the season, when they announced the schedules, I watch every single team's schedule announcement because it's just so dope to me to see how creative their different media teams are and what they do and all those sort of things, right? So from week to week, it's so interesting seeing how different the media is. I remember when we played the Bengals, I was looking at clips for their press conferences and stuff. The Bengals don't show anything. They don't show. It's really hard to find post-game press conferences or just the coaches speaking, the players speaking about a specific game, a matchup, and everything. It's really hard to find that. You go to other teams like the Eagles. I remember They have their own sort of like breakdown shows where they'll actually go through film. Same thing with the New England Patriots, which was really surprising to me. They'll have Bill Belichick on a show with them where he'll break down film and actually walk you through, oh, this is what we were planning on this play. This is what we were doing. He'll actually do that, which is really surprising for Bill Belichick because you have this perception of him like he doesn't talk to the media. He doesn't like, they actually have a show where he breaks stuff down. So there's all these different things that the media teams do. And when you go to the Dallas Cowboys, when you go to talk about football in Texas, I mean, they have 6 different podcasts, it seems like, out of their studios in Frisco, Texas, where they got the players podcast, the analyst podcast. They have the show where they're interviewing people from, Good Morning America, the football show on NFL Network. You have all these various aspects of different shows within the Cowboys' actual YouTube channel, right? Like there's so many. There's at least 5 different shows they have. They have
And
the
it's
press
and it's not
conferences.
it's not like when I it's not like from the it is from the team, but it's like they don't they like they have it like real podcasts where people
Yeah,
share
they're
their
talking
opinions,
about that's
negative and positive.
but that's it is I see, I know the point you're making, but it is from the team, it is from the actual account of the channel. And it just goes to the point, when you talk about media, Dallas has done the best job in professional sports of marketing. It's easy when you're talking about the LA Lakers, the New York Knicks, all these major cities, the New York Yankees, all the, you can market that. It's the best city. But you're talking about the Dallas Cowboys and branding them as America's team and making sure that every single, if you watch Speak for Yourself on Fox, or even if you watch some of those other shows on Fox, every single day they talk about the Cowboys. Every single day, because they know the
Skip
market and they know
Bayless.
how many fans they have, and they know the tunes, the ears that are tuned into that. When you look at the top 10 games this year in terms of like what the viewers were, clearly it's a little bit skewed when you're talking about Thanksgiving and Christmas and holidays and things of that nature. But the Cowboys have, I want to say, 6 of the 10 top viewed games this year. I want to say 6 of the 10, if not even more than that, of the top viewed games this year. And they do a great job of marketing and branding, and it transitions me to football. And the reason why I wanted to, this whole postseason push, this whole playoff push, I wanted to play the Cowboys. Why? I know they got squad. I know they got talent. I know all those various things. Micah Parsons been killing. Dak Prescott, nothing to joke around about. Their receiving core, man, that's something to deal with. But to me, the reason why I wanted to play the Cowboys so bad is because of the pressure that they have. The intangible pressure that you can't measure, you can't put into the X and O's of the game. All the media that they have, all the talk that they have, every year, it's like, this is Cowboys. I'm in the spaces with all these Cowboys fans this week talking about the matchup and how they really feel, and all their fans and how they feel about it. They're super confident. They're overconfident. They should be confident. They're the number 3 seed. I get it, but they're overconfident, I would say. And they
Really?
always are. They're
Really?
overconfident, talking about their fans
I
and
mean,
getting the pulse
I
of their
feel like
fans.
there's a skill. There's a skill because I don't like even watching that Cowboys channel. Like there's some of the people on the podcast that I feel like they're like, yeah, some of them they're doing like the chest
I'm
out,
talking
like,
about the fans, though. I'm talking about the
huh?
fans,
I know, but
and
I'm saying there's literally I'm talking about on the podcast. There's
yeah,
like the two. There's different podcasts, but anyways, just like they I mean I guess they're not fans because they're on the show, but they seem like they want the cat, like they say we. So I feel
yeah,
like you want them to win. Um, but I think people we're looked at as the team that nobody wants to see. Like that's the
right, yeah,
narrative. And so I feel like they nervous about it. Some I feel like they nervous about it though.
yeah. I would
And then,
definitely,
all right, and then here we go with the pressure, right? Like everything, like you saying, the pressure, like it's real, and it is real. It's hella real. Um, and when you look at that squad, that Cowboy squad, you got, like you said, they Michael Parsons, you got their receivers, um, you got Dan Quinn, and it's like you got Dak Prescott, and I feel like there's a lot of mixed emotions with Dak Prescott from I was texting Chris today, Chris the barber, you
mhm,
know,
huge
from
Cowboys
Hamilton,
fan. Mhm.
and he a big Cowboys fan, and he said he hoped Dak don't suck or something like that. So it's like, damn, like Dak, I feel like is kind of like, I don't want to say like Jimmy G, but in terms of like
One of the guys on the
They have
podcast,
bad.
one of the guys on the podcast compared Dak to Jimmy G, saying Jimmy G is like a poor man Dak Prescott, basically. Like they need the run game. You know, he doesn't want him to be just passing the ball like 40 times a
Exactly.
game and stuff. He needs the run game. He needs the defense to show up, and he could, play that manager role to an elite level.
Dak would throw picks. He would throw picks. Just a little bit of highlights.
He only has 10 this year. He only has 10 this year.
Right. I mean, I was watching this game, bro. It was a fourth quarter against the Redskins, and all they had to do was run, and it was like, bro, he just threw a dumbass pick six, like right to this linebacker, like just things like that. Where as a fan, like that I could see how that would make you kind of nervous, like damn. But on the other side, on the flip side of things, I think Dak Prescott, I think he's good at I think he's good at handling pressure. He came back from this crazy this crazy foot injury. That's pressure. I think he did good his first playoff appearance against Green Bay when Aaron Rodgers had that crazy throw, but I think Dak did good that game.
Of course, yeah.
And so I don't know. I just feel like, man, I don't know what you feel about Dak Prescott, man.
Well, again, I to me, like the X's and O's, Cowboys match up well. I think like when you talk about their physicality, I mean, we'll see. I need to do more studying on the actual Cowboys team, specifically their defense. I feel like I compare for me, and maybe I'm tripping with this, but I really, really, really compare the Cowboys offense to the Minnesota Vikings. I know they're more dynamic and everything like that, but when you look at the Vikings with two, star receivers, a great running back, a quarterback who can get it done. He's not like the best ever, but he can get it done. And it's not the greatest comparison, but I really compare those teams in terms of like how their offenses shape up. And I was really actually going back to the Minnesota Vikings game that we played this year, looking at those highlights, kind of going back there. How do we really match up against their receivers, their running back? Like how'd that really, shake out? And, I compare Dak to that sort of level. I like Dak a lot. But I also feel like, to me, when you talk about the X's and O's, I think what I'm most confident in is, I don't know why, I just feel like Fred Warner is going to have a big game against their running attack. They're going to try to establish the run. Fred Warner hasn't had the year that he's wanted to have, but I feel like overall our linebacking core has been very great, and a big testament to that is Fred Warner. I think the intangibles that he brings, the leadership he brings, the being a captain out there on the field, I feel like all those things really matter. And I just feel like in this sort of game, in this environment, I could just totally see Fred Warner making a huge play, getting a fumble on Ezekiel Elliott. Ezekiel Elliott's been known to be loose with that ball, you know what I mean? And I just feel like Fred Warner is due for making a big play. That's just what I'm predicting. I'm very confident in that. But what I'm most kind of concerned about in this game, it's not really as much Dak Prescott. I think he's going to do what he's going to do. I'm hoping he's not elite. I'm hoping he doesn't just, absolutely slice and dice us. But I think he'll have a solid game. I think he'll get some touchdowns. I think he'll make some plays. He's probably going to have, close to 300 yards, if not 300 yards. The main thing is keeping them out the end zone and, getting some turnovers, getting some big plays. I'm more concerned about the other side, our offense against their defense, and Jimmy G. Jimmy G coming off a great game. We'll see if that can translate. If his confidence, like you said, if it really does something. He's been playing pretty clutch in the moments that he's had, whether it be the Bengals game, the Titans game, didn't turn out in the win, but he did, had that last drive. Clearly the Rams game. So he's had even the Seattle game, which didn't work out for us either. So he's had those moments. He's getting to me, so much of sports is about the story. So much of the story is about perception. And so much of Jimmy G's story is now changing into, he does all this, but he's clutch. He's like Colin Coward always says, Kirk Cousins shrinks in big moments, Jimmy G rises in big moments. That's now his MO, So we'll see if he can overcome those things. But I do feel like Jimmy G is going to turn that thing over. I feel like Cowboys defense, they're aggressive, all these various things.
That's what they do. That's what
they do. And I just feel like Jimmy G is going to turn that thing over. And I'm hoping that it's not more than one time, but I'm almost banking on a Jimmy G turnover. Like I'm banking on it.
Bro, and to talk more about their defense, like, listening to Shanahan said something today or whatever Monday that caught my attention, and he was talking about Dan Quinn, and he was saying that like when he turned on the film, like you could tell it's a Dan Quinn defense, and we know about Dan Quinn defenses. Like though the Dan Quinn defense was like that was the rawest defense we've ever seen with the the Legion of Boom in Seattle. And just the way they played, That was like, that was so when he said that, and then I'm watching like some of their highlights today, and like, yeah, they don't have Earl Thomas, they don't have like a true middle linebacker like Bobby Wagner, like who that with that presence, but they do got a Diggs, Sherman-esque, Diggs and Sherman. Micah Parsons, he's definitely is a game wrecker. But Randy Gregory, they got Randy Gregory and Demarcus Lawrence, that dude. So they got like I feel like they got pass rush, and they got some pieces where it's like with Dan Quinn, it's like you said, that it's kind of you hear about from their end that watching their podcast that they've struggled, or they when they do lose or whatever, it's because they can't stop the run, or they get out physical. So that don't seem to me like that Legion of Boom type swag, because I never really seen them get out physical. But that was the narrative on their end. Watching one of them podcasts where the dude was saying, like, when we lose, what do they say in all the press conferences? We get out physical, and I don't know, just seeing like they got a big pass rush, and then they got Diggs, who, but apparently he give up yards too, but he just takes the ball away, like you said. They taking the ball away. They got the most turnovers. Fun, like, just yeah, they get the ball. So it's kind of like that's hard. They said their strength. They said their weakness is our strength. They feel like they have a hard time stopping a run, and we run the ball well. And then from our end, it's like their strength is getting turnovers, and I feel like our weakness, like you said, Jimmy G turning the ball over.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how, with the Legion of Boom comparisons. I think I look at like the Atlanta Falcons 2019 when we were in our run and they kind of stopped things for us, made it difficult for us. I was actually watching the highlights of that game with Dan Quinn and his defense, because it's the most recent example we can see of this. I mean, I know that we played them. Well, last year they didn't have Dan Quinn. We played them that 2019 season, and they basically
They didn't have Dan Quinn last year. They didn't.
no, Dan Quinn is they had Mike Nolan, I believe, last year, and they were a terrible defense last year. Dan Quinn came
Okay,
in
so
and
this,
changed
this is
everything
first
for
year.
them.
This is
This
first
is his
year.
first year, and he's changed everything for them. He's been a big reason for their success. They're a defensive-led team, essentially, which is a big 180 from what people thought coming into the season with all the weapons they have on offense. And they've balled out on offense. They feasted on the NFC least. They've balled out 40-plus point games consistently. They have 250-point games up this year, I want to say. I could be wrong about that. But their offense have done their thing, but they really are a defensive-led team this year, and that a big part of that is Dan Quinn. But I look at like the Atlanta Falcons 2019, what they did to us in our run to the Super Bowl. If you remember, I think it was the week 15 or 16 that stopped Julio Jones goal line situation, all of that. And but yeah, a big part of that game was us not being able to do, especially in the second half, what we wanted to do, running the ball. And I feel like just looking at the highlights of that game, I haven't done a deep dive in all 22 and stuff, but it was like, man, we just couldn't. It seems like we were having success in the single back formations and just couldn't really get anything off those shotgun runs in the second half. And as of late, we've been doing.
Was Debo playing?
Yeah, Debo is playing. He's a rookie. It's his rookie year.
No, 'cause I remember. I thought he got like hurt for one game or something.
I think Debo's playing that game. We had a very different team though. Just the dynamic that Mostert brought and the speed that he brought. I feel like Elijah Mitchell, as good as he's been, as physical he's been, you're not touching Mostert with that. Debo brings that element to our offense, and when he's in the backfield, but
still not Mostert level.
yeah, still not Mostert, but he brings a physical element, so it kind of like makes up for it. Mostert just gonna get 7. Debo's gonna get 4 and make that 7. So it's like regardless, you're still getting there. But yeah, I looked at that game and just kind of looking at how things transpired, and it's like a chess game, man. It really is a chess game, and hopefully Shanahan will prevail. I look at the coaching matchup, and I think it goes back to my point about pressure. I think that Mike McCarthy, he's already won a Super Bowl. He's already done those things, but again, when Dallas is in the playoffs, I know everybody's like, oh, the Niners are the team you don't want to play. It's not just like when you have the little things at the bottom of the screen, it's not like everybody's going to pick the Cowboys. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. It's the Cowboys. It's like Texas. It's the pressure is immense. It's like at a different level. There's no other team. Like the pressure is just crazy with this team. It's unrealistic. That's just how it is. And once that game starts, if they get down 10-3, 13-6, like the pressure just keeps mounting. I think I like Dak Prescott. I think he has the mental makeup to, that's not really a big issue for him. But other guys on the team, and we look at the coaching staff, Mike McCarthy's had his criticisms about clock management and various things, right? Like he's on the hot seat, really. If they lose this game, and depending on how it looks, they might make a decision, because a lot of fans do not like Mike McCarthy, right? A lot of fans feel like he brings that Super Bowl pedigree. Other ones don't. When you look at their, offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, I think it was Haberman
They're
and
getting
Middlecoff.
interviewed and stuff now.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it was Haberman and Middlecoff were making the point that I thought was a really good point. You look at D'Amico Ryans, you look at Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore, he's in a situation where if they score 30 points in this game, 30 plus points, like he's on the way to becoming a head coach, right? But if he falters in his first playoff opportunity and, they only scored 13, 14, like maybe like that's a big, challenge for him to overcome, like whether it's becoming the head coach of Dallas moving forward or another team. On the flip side, D'Amico Ryans, he's able to take this Dallas offense and hold them to 17 points. He's able to hold them to 20 points. For being a head coach and being considered as a head coach, that's a huge battery in his back, right? That's a huge just point that you put on your resume. So I think like the coaching matchup is very interesting, but overall, the archetype of our team and the energy after we've basically, to me, the season was we're starting Jimmy G because we had to go to the playoffs. We got to the playoffs. Yes, we are in prime position. A lot of faithful really feel like we can win this game. I feel like X's and O's. I think Dallas should be able to win this game. But I just feel like energy, intangibles, the elephant in the room is the pressure. And I feel like we don't, that's just my personal opinion. I don't feel like we have pressure in this game. I don't. I feel like coming into this, we already won that game against the Rams. We're feeling good about ourselves. We've been in plenty of close games. Another thing about the pressure is we've been in these playoff situations consistently. We've been in these situations against the Titans, didn't come out with the win. Against the Seahawks, didn't come out with the win. Against the Rams, came out with that win. Against the Bengals, came out with that win. We've been in these close games where everything's been about playoff seedings. On the flip side, the Dallas Cowboys, they've been pretty much known that they're going to get into the playoffs. They've pretty much known that all these games.
They had a great start.
Say again?
They had a great start.
They had a great start, and they
let them be able to kind of. And they swept their division too.
And their division wasn't we're playing the Rams in a overtime thriller, last second play when 3 of our teams in our division have 10 plus wins. There's no other division that has 2. You know what I'm saying? Like we played in the NFC West. You know what I'm saying? And when you look at all those things and you're comparing our team to theirs, I just feel like we're battle tested, we're ready, and we're underdogs. And I just feel like and I know people are going to pick us. I'm not really saying in that regard. I'm just saying I don't feel like there's pressure on us to win the game. We may be favored to win the game by a lot of people, but I don't think there's that pressure to win. And
it's not even a lot of people. I feel like it's going to be split down the middle, maybe even, more on their side.
Exactly. And I feel like, it may be split, but the pressure that's going to be on the Cowboys is still going to be a lot more. And they're at home, there's just those factors that come into play where that's what I'm banking on for us to win the game. That's the biggest reason why I'm feeling like we're going to win the game. Jimmy G, he's been clutching pressure, to finish games. I do think I trust Dak Prescott. I do feel like, he's somebody who can kill the noise and rise above. But when you're, the one drive to win the game and Dak Prescott has the ball going against our defense and all the pressure in the stadium and how tight it's going to be. And, we saw how it was in the Rams game, right? How tight it's going to be and all those sort of things going against us. And we're used to it and we have a flow and we're riding this momentum. That's how I feel like we win the game, keeping it close, and really even if we're ahead, and they have to come back even in that scenario, because I feel like the pressure may, not allow for them to be resilient, tough, all those sort of things, because of how much pressure is usually on the Cowboys. So that's what I'm banking on in this game. That's just me.
Yeah. No, I feel you, man. And I don't know, looking at the Cowboys, I guess the thing that gives me, confidence is if a team can't is if their weakness is not stopping the run, I don't know. That just to me doesn't it doesn't make me feel like it's that scared, and if you can't stop the run, and if you're not
Turnovers.
really,
Turnovers.
great at running the ball,
Yeah.
it's like, all right, so you have these great receivers. You got Amari Cooper, but even with them, like listening to today's podcast, they're talking about, can we get Amari the ball? Like, when can we get him? Like, basically saying like that's their guy, and it's kind of been inconsistent with trying to get him the ball. So I don't know. It's just little things like that where, to me, I feel like I'm most scared of, like, obviously great quarterbacks, and I don't think he's great. He's not Aaron Rodgers out there. And then like a team who could really run the ball, and a good stop the run defense. And maybe I just feel like we have a better formula than they do. That's just how I feel right now. And like in the momentum we have, I think is big. And hopefully we got better coaching too.
Yeah, most definitely, man. I'm. It's good to feel confident. It's good to, feel how you feel. Faithful, stick your chest out. This may be the last week. I feel like coming into the Rams game, I was like, this could be. I don't have that same energy right now, and that just goes to the pressure thing.
I mean, but
again.
it really could be the last though.
No. It very much can be. But last week it was like that would be the end of the world. This week, like, yeah, I want to win. Yeah, I want to make a Super Bowl run, but I don't even feel that same pressure that like this is do or like I don't feel that same pressure. We made the playoffs. We had a great, run to close out the season. Jimmy G did his thing. Like, we're playing with house money to a certain extent. That's how I feel in this game. I have different feelings coming into different games, right? That's how I feel coming into this game. I feel like all the pressure is on the Cowboys, regardless of what, even if it's going to be split and people think that they're going to win. So that's my main, I guess, point with the Cowboys. With the receivers and stuff, I highly recommend that the faithful out there tune into Croc's show that he had this morning with the Cowboys fan, where he really broke down the ins and outs from a Cowboys fan's perspective, not just a fan, somebody who's really tapped in with the team and can break down kind of like the matchups and all those sort of things. And it just seems like I was kind of looking at the Gallup situation with him being out as a huge plus for us, but from his vantage point, they're making it seem like that Wilson guy that they have has really stepped on big for them. And they may go to more 2 tight end sets now that their tight end is back healthy. So they still have a lot of weapons to counteract that. And they're even saying that they're a little bit more versatile with the receiver group that they have now, with all of their receivers being able to go into the slot and the matchups that can present, and being able to take advantage. Like, the offense has been running more smoothly with the current guys that they got in there. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm not really concerned about.
I feel like Gallup, man. I know, man. I'm a disagree on from my vantage point on terms of, like, I just feel like Gallup was a true
On the outside, but they're saying he wasn't really good on the inside, and they're able to do more things with moving Amari inside, and all those sort of various things with the guys with the guy that got in now. And he's been balling too. Wilson's been balling too. So
not the number one.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I know, but yeah, just I don't whatever. I feel like Gallup was pretty. Like, I feel like Wilson is just our number one. I don't know. I just feel like Gallup was really making plays, one-on-one type deals. I feel like Wilson.
No, he was. I mean, from their vantage point, it seems like they were saying that he was doing those things, but it was taking away from the offense, almost like where it's like almost like addition by subtraction when you have so many guys to get the ball to and so many people to feed.
But didn't Brett just go out? Like, he just went out recently.
Well, Gallup?
Yeah,
I think it was maybe 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, something like that.
Right. And they okay. But
that's what their vantage point was. Like I said, all the Cowboys fans that I've heard from, they all seem very confident that they're going to win this game. The Cowboys fans, I mean, they're look,
that's
man,
good. That's
good.
No,
they're very confident that they're going to win this game. From going on Twitter Spaces, from seeing the podcasts that I've seen, yes, the official things on the channel there, you hear more balanced opinions, things like that. But I'm talking about from the fans. Trust me, man. Like, in all the Texas radio this week, and I haven't even looked. I already know Skip Bayless is probably talking. I think we had a comment here. Skip Bayless talks Cowboys during the NBA Finals. I mean, come on now. Like, that dude there. It's just so much pressure, that team has, and I definitely feel like that bodes well for us. I'm waiting for the team to choke. And when you talk about it being the 40th anniversary of the catch, when you talk about some of the iconic games that we've had where basically the winner essentially goes to the Super Bowl. That's really what the game has been for. It's been so much greatness, man. And I'm just looking forward to having a TO type experience where one of our players can get to that star and just, make that happen. I mean, that's what
Yeah,
it's all
bro.
about.
It's really gonna boil down to like who is better, who is better, who put the better team together, who has better coaching, and there's gonna be highs and lows, but it's 60 minutes. It's gonna show. I mean, not all the time the better team wins, but I just feel like 60 minutes. This like that once that adrenaline wears off on both sides, on their side, on our side. You heard what Micah Parsons said today?
Yeah, about the bully ball. I mean, yeah, he
Yeah,
should say that. I like what Fred Warner said too. I really like that. About like, if you flip everything around, you gotta give them respect. They got players, they're definitely it's kind of similar to what the Rams were saying about the body bag comment from George Kittle, right? They took offense to that. I don't know if you saw that, but George Kittle had made
yeah.
it, I think it's very similar. Micah Parsons like, oh, well, it is what it is. Like, we'll see how it is when you put them pads on when we play. We are a physical team. And I think
I
Cowboys
mean, we
fans.
not. I don't think we finna be throwing him around. You feel me? But
Well, the Cowboys fans are making it seem like all that is completely overblown, and that they're not concerned about the physicality at all of this game. They're not. They're just not concerned. There's not. They're not.
I mean, it's a football game. Like I wouldn't say that you need like we're just gonna like smash them like we just have like we just different level of strength. You got Trent Williams and George Kittle and Debo. Like those guys, usually are stronger than the people they're going against. So,
Mhm.
But it's not like just across the board like they just got some weak shrimps over there.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see, man. I think this is going to be a gut check game, and yeah, I mean, it's Cowboys Niners. What else can you say, man? JB, I don't know if you had any other closing thoughts about this game, the matchup, or anything of that nature. Before we wrap up this podcast.
man, man, I don't, man. I'm just, it's gonna be a game, bro. Hey, what I guess when you want to go on this next?
I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. And I definitely want to tap in with the faithful in the comment section. Make sure you let us know what is the best time. We typically do Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. for the Tonight Show, but we're flexible to moving things around. I know it's difficult with our schedules and whatnot, but we got to get back on this because it's all Niners all day, every day, 49365 on Frontline Sports Media. So you definitely got to tap into our YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you get all the content, but we will be posting clips on the Frontline Sports Media channel. Shout out to Croc, shout out to Jasper and Jamal, shout out to everybody out there doing great contact. We actually ran into Jasper at the game,
That was crazy,
the Rams
bro.
Niners game. Yeah, just in the mix of everything, just kind of ran into him, which was dope. First time getting the chance to meet him. I know he lives out here in LA, so I actually was hitting him today. I'm like, hey, bro, it's good. Like, if you want to come through to the house for the game, like, just holler at me. I know we all got our rituals and how we do things, but if you do need a spot to watch that, just keep me posted. He was like, man, I gotta watch this. I gotta watch this thing alone. I'm one of them people that I can't do nothing. I gotta watch this. I'm like, hey, I feel it. I don't even.
I feel that, man. Like
Yeah.
I really feel that. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I don't like watching the game, like if outside of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
Where I could really like so.
I ain't gonna
Like
lie, bro. When it was the Super Bowl we had against the Chiefs, and you had everybody over at the house who you had over the house, that was
bro, that was me. I just had to be a good brother at that moment.
no, I feel it, but I
That was
hated
me
that.
being a good brother. Like, cause I just feel like I gotta, I want my little brother to be able to be like uh like come over and not me shoo him away. Like
And just to
feel like he
clarify,
can't bring
of course, it's not your brother that's the issue. It's the brother's
no,
friends who we brought through, and
yeah, the
all
friends
that.
who
Right.
wasn't who weren't yeah, they weren't Niner fans. So it definitely was a different vibe. Like
Yeah.
especially the heartache vibe. Like you had to like kind of
Not show your
kinda
true emotions
act
because
like you weren't as hurt as you were at that moment.
you can't show your true emotions because you got other people around and stuff when you're just eating you inside and they just looking at you laughing. So that could be the worst. But even when you're watching it with other quote unquote fans, I mean, there's all those experiences, right? Where you go to the sports bar and I don't know, the game's kind of transpiring and they're like, oh man, why don't they put Trey Sermon in the game right now? like, oh man, Trent Williams is getting killed. He's not even playing. Like, you get those things at the sport bars where it's like, I can't even. I
Like,
can't even.
we not on the same level of we just not on the same. And this is we on different frequencies right now. Like
When they
you
like,
know,
oh yeah, put Mostert in the game. Come on, man. I
I
can't.
wish like Harbaugh would have. That's where they messed up. They should have never let Harbaugh go.
Exactly. In
Like,
2022. It's 2022. You out here talking about Harbaugh. Like, you know what I mean? So I get it. If you got to watch the game at your house, you got to go with a certain group of people. Like, everybody got their ritual, but I definitely had to extend the invite to Jasper, who we ran into at the game. So that was a good time. But like I said, man, what do y'all think in the comment section? What if we had a specific time each week that we had to go on? What would be the best time that you would tap in for? I'm just curious. I want to know what the faithful think, because at the end of the day, it's a show for the people. I want to get into the slots that have the most people tapped in. We can have the most conversations.
off top, I know the morning, that to me is just like more people be up and it's more, East Coast, West Coast, that the morning is good, but I feel like morning just be hella busy. But night, there is no night shows really. There's not a lot of. You think every all sports media, I feel like the biggest shows are in the morning.
Yeah, it's funny. I went on with Jamal. One of the days Jasper couldn't make it at the 6:00 slot. I believe it was a 6:00 slot. We went on, and there was like 200 and something people in the chat. I mean, it was all time, high. So I feel like that evening time still can hit hard. You know what I mean? Depending on how consistent it can be.
6:00 at night.
6:00 at night, yeah, and it was a lot of people in there. So
right.
We'll have to figure out on the back end, but y'all tap in with us in the comment section. Like I said, let us know what works for y'all, man, because we want to definitely tap in with the faithful, keep the conversation going. I mean, we just vibe. We vibe. You see us, we go through Twitter, we go through YouTube, we go through what's popping, what's cracking, all these comments, all this, stuff. But we definitely got to rev up and do more episodes and connect with the people more, with the faithful more. So that's what it's all about.
Yeah, man. When you're good, it gives you a little more motivation.
Absolutely, right? Yeah. More to talk about.
It's like, man, bro, I'm tired, bro.
Yeah, but there's been no shortage of topics of content to discuss this season. It's been such a roller coaster ride, and I guess to JB's point, I do need to put out that caveat that this may be the last week that we talk about what's going to happen, what we're looking for, and our anticipation and excitement for the game upcoming on the weekend. This could be the last time that we're actually having that conversation this year.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I will definitely. There's pressure on this because I definitely don't want it to be the last week. Like, I know
nobody does, but it's not. But there's not. But that doesn't mean that there's pressure. That I think that's a different aspect. Like, you want us to win, you want everything to continue, but it doesn't mean that
that's pressure. Then that's pressure.
Well,
right on Shanahan and them.
I don't think so at all. They got to the playoffs.
Passionate ass fan base, and
yes, the
vibe is good.
We're the 6th seed. They're the 3 seed. I don't think the pressure's there. And I think, like, when you compare it, like, to me, there's like 3 types of playoff teams. There's the ones like the year when we went to the Super Bowl, where the whole year, we didn't get our respect in the beginning of the year. That's fine. But we won enough games and we established ourselves as one of those teams, and we ended up getting the number 1 seed. So when you're at that number 1 seed like Green Bay, you don't have to finish off the season with all these close games and all these, like, they have this momentum going in the playoffs. It doesn't matter. You're the top dogs. People come into you like you're expected to win because you're the top dog. That's like one archetype of a team. Another team is like that wild card who just won the last 6 games of the season, 6 of the last 7, like team kind of like us, the Giants when they won the Super Bowls, the Packers when they won the Super Bowl. Like, you're just on fire coming in, where it's like you don't want to play that team. Like, that's one of the archetypes. And the other one is like the in-between team who's like maybe a 3 seed or 4 seed. They've won games, but like the Dallas Cowboys archetype, and that's the team that's getting ready for an upset. Like, that's what I feel like. And it's like they have pressure because they got to win, but at the same time, they're not really playing necessarily the best. I know they scored 50 on the backup Eagles. Let's, give them their respect. They're still a formidable opponent. I'm not saying that, but Dallas is not just Dallas. Dallas is not just one of those teams. It's the fact that they're the Dallas Cowboys. That's like, the Lakers coming into the playoffs, the Yankees. It doesn't matter how they actually were X's and O's, and they were a solid team, but everything is just so overrated with them because they're the Dallas Cowboys. The pressure, there's no other pressure in sports like the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones is getting up there. They haven't won in forever. It's they have a lot of pressure. I still hold on to that
They make
fact.
it seem, bro. Like, have you heard what they talk about with the kicker?
Yeah, it's the Cowboys, man. Jerry Jones out there talking about every player, in the post game. It's just wild, man. The Cowboys are the Cowboys,
Bro,
and
the
you got
special
to
teams
respect it.
coach was talking about the kicker, saying that, and the kicker was saying like, "Yeah, I can't, I don't, like,
Lost
I
his,
don't, I haven't found it yet," or something
yeah.
crazy like that.
Mhm.
So, I mean, bro, hopefully, like I said, hopefully, I really don't want to lose. I really don't want to lose this week. That's
That's
all I'm gonna say.
absolutely no. I got that, but I do think we're playing with a little bit of that house money. What do y'all think, Faithful? What do y'all feel like, man? What do y'all vibing like? I know y'all getting some inspiration going, rolling up, drinking to something nice, sipping on something lean. You gotta tap in. This is the playoffs that we're getting ready for, and it's the Cowboys. Like, I couldn't be more excited, man. And I want to keep our mojo going, keep the good vibes rolling, keep Jimmy G, clutch Jimmy G. He's making a new name for himself, from jittery to inconsistent to good
He's-
Jimmy, bad Jimmy to clutch Jimmy. So
Hey, all right, like, I know he's about to go, but like, is he still like you said? We say Jimmy G is Jimmy G.
that's what I say. I don't know if you're necessarily a
All right, well,
subscribing to
you
that all
say
the way.
that, but
That's what I
like, it's
say.
like, is he? Is this gonna? Is he still Jimmy G?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's funny when you compare like the
So
games.
is Jimmy G good enough?
Yeah, of course.
But he wasn't good enough against the Titans.
We didn't play perfect against the Titans.
So he could do that this on Sunday.
Then we won't win.
Exactly. That sucks.
So he's good enough to play perfect, but I mean, there's always levels to this. I mean, Jimmy G is Jimmy G. It's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. It's just he's
It's
been
not
clutch.
a bad thing. It's not a good thing.
It's not. A lot of these teams are driven by their quarterback play. We're not one of them.
Bro, but but if he play bad, then like that's bad for our team.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely that's Captain Obvious stuff right there, but he's not the driving force of our team. We just not it's about the run game. What can we do in the run game? Can we establish the run? And
How
I
do you
think that's
establish the run game? By being able to pass the ball. We're not gonna be doing that Green Bay shit where I don't just count on them type of just run the ball like and throw the ball 8 times. Like,
we'll see. I
how many
mean,
times how many
not
times
8.
have we
That's
done that?
ridiculous.
Huh?
But that's ridiculous. But if we can get to 25 and less, I think that is possible. Like, though, and it's not. Let's not look at the Green Bay game. That's absolutely extreme. But the Rams game this year, Monday Night Football, that's like
That was kind of extreme too.
that was
kinda
extreme. But it was we've done that multiple times
games aren't. I don't count
against
on
the
games.
Rams with all the players that they have on defense and all the
I know, but
against
we
Aaron
weren't. I
Donald.
mean, I feel it, but I feel it, but I
No,
just feel like
we can run the ball
those
down our
games.
throat.
But think about how many games we've had. Like, there's literally you can't just there is no like how many times have we played like that? Like the Rams game this year, where in terms of just running the ball that much, or the Vikings game in the playoffs, and the Packers game in the playoffs. Those are like kind of 3 games I
There's
remember.
other games where we ran a lot. I mean, the Jaguars game this year, I don't know
Yeah,
how
the
many attempts
Jaguars
we had,
game.
but we ran the ball a lot in that game. I mean, yeah, it's rare, but yeah, we can run the ball. If we can, you don't have to be able to throw. Like, we got to be able to just run that ball, and then nothing
I'm
you can
saying
do
you got to
about
be
it.
able to throw to run it though, and to
You
run
don't
it
have
well.
to. You don't
Like
have
Shanahan
to.
said about this game versus the Rams. Like, how we was able to run the ball. He was like, yeah, we wouldn't have been able to do that if we weren't able to throw the ball. And you
Right.
see, Jimmy at 315, so it's like, you gotta keep him. Like, so that's what I'm saying, man. Like, Jimmy G is I know it doesn't rest all on him, but he's gonna have to make plays. He's gonna have to make plays to
We have
then be able
playmakers that
to
make plays.
get
All
the
you
run
gotta do
game.
is get the ball to guys and distribute the ball. We have playmakers that can make plays. You don't gotta overdo anything. He just
No,
needs to be him. And our run game needs to be that, and that's what we're banking on. We'll see what happens though, man. I think he has an opportunity to really continue upping his stock.
Can we
get
blow
us.
him out? Can we just blow him out?
I don't think it's going to be a blowout on our end. I think even if we were to come out and be up, 17-3, like in the reverse scenario with the Rams, I do think the Cowboys have too much firepower. They're going to come back some way, somehow. I just don't. I see a scenario in which they could blow us out. I don't think that's going to happen, but I don't see us blowing them out. I just don't see that scenario. I don't. This is my personal opinion, my 2 cents. But I do feel like it's going to be a close game. I feel like X's and O's wise, they should outlast us. But again, I feel like with the pressure and everything like that, I do think that we have a good chance to win this game because I think they have a good chance to choke. From Kellen Moore to Dan Quinn to Mike McCarthy and to Ezekiel Elliott to
So basically what you're saying is you think they are better than us. You just think that they're gonna falter under the pressure.
better is a tough word, but if you want to, that's a summary overall. Like, that's how I feel. I think like it's I'd give them a higher percent chance of winning when you look at everything considered all around. But I think with all the intangible factors of this game, I think having it a home game hurts them and doesn't help them. They're one of those rare teams where I think that's the case. That's just me. I've wanted, I've been wanting to play the Cowboys this whole run. I kept saying that I want to play the Cowboys, and this is why. This is why, man. This is why.
Well, hopefully we can make Stephen A. happy. Hopefully we could, have Skip doing that one where he was just looking at. You seen that one on Twitter where he posted looking at the camera and not being able to say, he was speechless essentially. So it would be great. Like,
well, it's a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword for Stephen A. Because he's either gonna have to give the Cowboys love or give Jimmy G love, and so I think either way, he's in a tough spot on this one.
Did he give Jimmy G love?
No, I don't think so. I don't think he's been on ESPN. I don't even watch anymore. I'm sorry. I shout out to everybody on ESPN, all the personalities they have. I don't mean any disrespect, but I have no intention to.
You don't watch Dan Orlovsky and like Marcus Spears?
Dan Orlovsky is cool, and Ryan Clark. I do like listen to Ryan Clark and whatnot, but some of the talent that they have there, I have no intention of listening to some of the people that they have on that network. Just none.
Damn.
I'm serious. I feel like I just feel like I'm just really
disappointed.
They don't invest
we
in.
Have like you killing our sponsorships with ESPN. We have like nobody in this shit right now. So you killing all our sponsorships.
Hey, I gave shout outs to the people that deserve shout outs, but I just feel like I tap into Fox Sports a lot more than ESPN now, to be honest with you. I just think they have better talent.
Yeah, I know you fuck with that.
Speak for yourself and Colin Cowherd.
Yeah.
I definitely, and it's not like I listen to just their food. It's about the entertainment. It's about the conversation. It's about the points being made. About just hearing the pulse of what people have to say and their vantage points. I mean, I really think Colin Cowherd is, he's at the top of doing what he does. And I think the debate shows. We talk about debate shows. Speak for yourself. There's nothing like that, man. So, other than 493,
it's crazy, bro. Like them debate shows, like it just make. Sometimes I'll be wondering, like, how, like, are you just like trying to make a point, or do you really feel this way? Like, I feel like a lot of times you just probably are, y'all, for entertainment purposes, y'all probably just like, all right, I'm just gonna.
My point. That's my point. Yeah, and they don't always. Like I said, speak for yourself. They don't always debate though. They don't always. It's not always them debating. Other debate shows, they absolutely do that. But speak for yourself, they don't always debate. Number one. Number two, I think that a lot of times with these personalities, and it's easier for us to have different opinions because we don't have, people that are going to pull up a bunch of Twitter clips and, this and that. But it's like with those guys, like, I think a big part of it is when they say one point, right? They say one emphatic point about one specific topic, about one specific player, right? They have to be consistent with that. They kind of have to double down to a certain extent. And it's not just that point on that certain player on that certain team. They kind of have to apply that to, if I think that about this situation, then I have to also think, it's kind of like a philosophy that you build that you kind of have to be a little bit, strong with. I think there's a lot of times
change their minds.
They can, but I think when it takes a lot. Even you mentioned Dan Orlovsky, he's one person who was really pounding the table for Carson Wentz. And then eventually he kind of gave up, and it was this big thing where he was like, I'll give it to you, Max. Like he's not who I thought he was. It's hard for these guys to they have their opinions and they got to kind of stay with them. it's their brand, you know. So otherwise, they'll get caught out. You know, hey, you said this. Like, now you're just switching it up, and then so you'll just lose the debate off top. So they kind of got to be steadfast. But on this show, we don't keep it honest. We flip opinions. We've changed the name from Mike's son to Kyle Shanahan, et cetera, et cetera. So, you know, we're definitely, the story's right itself, and we're excited to see what story becomes on this upcoming Sunday primetime. Cowboys, Niners, Niners, Cowboys. Oh, man, 49ers. It's going to be an amazing experience, and I can't wait to get the popcorn ready, as T.O. would say. So appreciate y'all tuning in with us, tapping in with us. 49365. Make sure you like, subscribe. We really appreciate it. We appreciate all the love, just being able to talk Niners with y'all. My name is B. Mechi. As always, I'm with JB.
We out. Hey, Faithful, stand up, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to be on the Tonight Show. This is